Okay, so these are the supplies we are using. I am using Alumilite brand of epoxy, and it has the two different A and B. And you can see my silicone mats here for the keychains, and I've already done a few with some different ways that I'm doing it here. So what we are going to do is we're going to make two of them in these two things here. So I'm going to be using some of these little cups and a stirring stick and a red Solo cup just to stir them in. So I'm going to do 10 milliliters of each solution. So I'm just going to take the bottle and pour to my 10 milliliter line. So then I'm going to pour 10 milliliters of the B solution. Okay, so now I pour both of them into a Solo cup because these little things are too small to really mix them. Okay, so now I'm just going to stir it, and I stir them for about 3 minutes. And you don't want to do it super fast. Do it kind of medium speed, I guess, because there will be bubbles that will form, and you don't want bubbles in this. So as I go, I do kind of pop some of the bubbles that form, and then I will actually use a heat gun to pop some more. So this one I'm going to actually make two different ones. So I'm going to pour them back into the little cups and put glitter, some chunky glitter in one, and then I'm just going to put some alcohol ink in another one, kind of see what color it turns. This one over here was actually a purple alcohol ink, and it turned kind of green, so just kind of learning what happens with the alcohol inks in these. So this is the same epoxy I use for my glitter tumblers. And one of my steps turned a little darker color since I haven't used it in a while. But it is dry transparent, or whatever color we have in here. Okay, so I'm going to make one. I'm going to pour these kind of stars and chunky things in there, and just a little bit so they kind of are floating. And then another one, I'm going to add this mermaid alcohol ink to it to make it a color. And then I'm going to put a vinyl decal on the front side. So all sorts of different things you can do. For this pink one here, I used this pink extra fine glitter, and this one actually is super pretty so far. We'll have to see how it comes out. I used this Recollections. This is actually an embossing powder, so not a glitter. And then on this one, I used an alcohol ink with some of kind of the bigger chunky glitter here. Okay, so I'm going to just pour half of this in here since I want to make it two different things. You're just making it one, you don't need to separate it. Okay, then I'm actually going to use a heat gun. Just kind of heat it up and stir it just to get a little more of the bubbles out. Okay, and now I'm going to just pour a little bit of those in here and stir those in. And again, this is all personal preference on how much you want in here. Okay, and then I'm going to dump this in this mold. Okay, and then once it's in here, I'm actually going to use my heat gun again. Okay, if there's anything on the side, I'm going to wipe it off with a paper towel. Okay, and so for this other one, I'm going to add this mermaid. Okay, I'm not going to totally mix it in all. Okay, and again, you can add glitter in that. There are a few bubbles in there. Okay, so now I'm going to let all of these dry overnight, and then we'll come back and we will pop these out. Okay, so everything has dried overnight. So you can see I already took this one out of this one here, and also this one. I love that sparkle in there with the embossing powder. So cool. So to take them out, you just have to kind of gently pull on these and push up. And just be careful. I hear sometimes these things rip and stuff, so you just want to be a little gentle with them. But it pulls right up. Cool on that one. So this was the clear resin with some of the chunky glitter in. I did get one edge on there. I was trying to push that down, but it didn't push down. And this was just one with alcohol ink. So I'm going to put some vinyl lettering on there. And then the letter ones. So this was an alcohol ink one with glitter inside of it. And this one was actually my leftover of this mixed with my leftover of this one. So that one's pretty cool too. Okay, so you can also, with epoxy, the nice thing is you can drill into it and also sand it. So if you do have some bumpy edges on the back, you know, you can lightly sand it. To get those off. Okay, so once you're done cutting out all of the decals on your Cricut, and I've already weeded those out, but I'm just gonna weed off the extra vinyl. This was a glitter vinyl. Okay, so I'm just gonna add the K just on this one. So I just like to get some rubbing alcohol to clean off the front. It just gets off any grime or extra residue that would prevent the vinyl from sticking. And grab some transfer tape. Although with just a single letter, you could probably easily just take that off with your fingers and transfer it. Scrape this down. And what's nice, all of these decals are small, so you can cut them out with any Cricut that you have. Cricut Joy, Cricut Maker, Explore, any of them. So I am just going to there, and then just peel off the transfer tape. So there I have that. I just need to add the rings on it, and it could be a necklace or it could be a keychain. So for this one, I cut out of holographic vinyl. I'm going to put on here. I'm just going to use the same transfer tape. And whichever way, oop, I forgot to clean this one. Wipe it real fast. And there's the holographic vinyl. Super fun. I love how the colors change in that one. So you can get, I don't have one of those kind of small drills to put in here, but I actually just used my weeding tool and pushed it down and turned it a little bit just to get a dot started. And then I'm going to use one of the little eyelet screw ends. And try to find the hole. There it is, and just kind of push. And my fingers are really big. If you have smaller fingers, this is going to be much easier. And then just screw those all the way in. You can also add some epoxy glue to it if you want. Okay, and so you can add all sorts of different, you can add, super pretty, let's see, a tassel to these. And now I have one thing there. So then I'm going to add maybe one of these a little bit smaller of the jumps. And let's add maybe that one to it. Okay. I'll put that in there. Okay, and close that. So I'm just pushing these back together so that they overlap enough that nothing will come out of there. Okay, so then I'm going to actually put another smaller hoop on. So it kind of depends on the size of your hoops on how much things you can put in there. Put that in there, and then hook it onto the other hoop in there. So lots of different ways you can hook these up. There's really no one way to do it. Push that closed. Okay, so that lets it hang a little bit more than the ones that are actually in the same hoop. I had to order some more jump rings because they didn't come in this pack. So I couldn't get those together. So I actually got this pack that has a bunch of different sizes. Of course, the sizes aren't labeled, so, but they have some bigger ones here. Okay, so let's try to put one of these jump rings in here. So I'm going to open it. Open it more and stick it through the hole there. Okay, so I'm going to put those in there. I'm actually going to add another jump ring to that one and then hook it into this one. I'm just going to put that side in one end. Okay, so then I'm going to put this part in that jump ring. Then close this one. So just kind of push those back together with your fingers or pliers. Okay, so kind of overlaps. So there you have keychain on here. I said these ones can also be used as necklaces. It's probably what they're more used for than the keychains. Get that closed more. So let's open this. Put it in here. those. Actually, this one, I'm going to open it back up so I can put one of these on. If I like purple, you can put all sorts of, this red one on. Stick that one in this loop, and then also put the chain in that loop too. See if it's open enough. Okay, and then I'm just going to close those back, this loop back up. Okay, one like that there. Okay, so there you have some keychains that you can give out as gifts. These would actually make great party favors for people that come to parties. Everyone loves monogram stuff. So instead, you don't have to put anything on it. You can also use these to make jewelry. So I'm just gonna put one more thing on this, and that's it. So if you like these videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss any, and happy crafting.